Hi friends, it's your art teacher, Miss Barnett. And in this week's lesson called Land and Sky, we've looked at two pieces of art in which artists really looked at and included the land and the sky in their picture. For today, we're going to be creating a picture of nature that is going to either be up close or far away. It's your choice. Está cerca o lejos de para un pictura de natura. So what you're going to need today, we're going to make a monoprint. And a monoprint you can think of as a printed painting. So it's mono means one and a print is a copy. So it's a print of your painting. And to make one of these is so fun. You're going to have a great time, I promise. So what you're going to need today is a cookie sheet or a styrofoam tray, like a meat tray. You can get those at H-E-B really easily. You can even ask the butcher in the meat department for one, and I bet he'll give you a couple if you're really nice and you use your please and your thank yous. You could also use a plastic tray like a cafeteria tray. That would work really good. Or like I said, a cookie sheet, a styrofoam tray, like a meat tray, or a plastic tray would work great. You're going to need a piece of paper to print onto. You're going to need a palette. I'm going to use a paper plate today for my palette, a brush, a water cup, and a sponge, and some cotton swabs like Q-tips, and some paper towels. And of course, since we are printing a painting, you're going to need paint. So gather your materials, meet me back here, and I'll show you how to make a monoprint of the land and the sky. Let's get started. Okay, kiddos. So I've got my cookie sheet. Now, this is an art cookie sheet, so mine is very yucky on this side. So I'm going to flip it over and use the other side. But you can really use either side of this as long as it's clean. So I'm going to use this side. And then I need to decide, is my painting going to be horizontal or is it going to be vertical? I think I'm going to make mine vertical today. Beautiful. And then what I might do here to help me remember where to paint at, I can take paint or tape, or I can even just use a marker and I can make myself some little cross lines on the cookie sheet. If you're using a Crayola marker, this will wash right off, no worries. The paint will wash off right away too. So there, I know that's where my paper is going to go, so I'm going to have to paint in this area. So now that I've got my tray marked off with my area, you can see these little marks here, I'm going to start applying my paint. So I want you, before you get started, you're going to decide if it's going to be up close or far away. So once you've done that, you've made that choice, we're going to get some paint, and I'll set up my paint and I'll show you what to do. Okay, kiddos, I've got my paint here. I'm just going to use the primary colors because all colors come from these three colors, and I'm going to start painting. So I just wet my brush, swish, swish, white. The top of my picture is going to be the sky. This is so cool to paint on metal, you guys. You're going to have a great time doing this. If you're in the classroom, you might not be working on a cookie sheet because I don't have like 30 of these around. You'll probably be working on a piece of styrofoam. Take your time. Don't worry about the paint drying on here because we're going to wet the paper today. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So here's the sky. And now I'm going to swish, swish, wipe my brush. Oops. Get my sponge out of there that's supposed to be clean. Swish, swish, wipe my brush. Now I want to make the ground green, so I'm going to take some yellow and some blue. I'm going to mix those together, and yellow and blue together make green. Oh, that's a pretty green. Let's paint that color on. Now, what kind of land are you going to have in your picture? Is it going to have hills? Is it going to be a field? Is it going to have, you know, it could have any kind of land you want to make, really. It's your choice. So let's paint the grass. Cool. Looks beautiful so far, guys. I want to put a sun in my picture, so I'm going to swish, swish, wipe my brush and dampen my brush with the paper towel, wipe and blot with the paper towel. Get some of this yellow on here. We don't want to mix the colors, so I'm applying the paint pretty thick. See how I'm making like a nice little puddle there for myself? Don't worry about going too thin. There we go. I'm gonna maybe put some flowers in the bottom of my picture. Swish, swish, wipe, and damp my brush. Again, don't be afraid to apply the paint thick. Got a beautiful field of flowers in my picture. Maybe I want to make some different color flowers. I'm going to make some orange. That's pretty. Maybe some yellow flowers. That's pretty. Now I think I'm going to make a tree, so I need to make brown for my trunk. And to make brown, you're just going to mix all three of the primary colors together. A little bit of that, a little bit of this. Still looks a little bit too blue. Let's put some more red in there. Coming out a little bit too purple. Let's add a little bit more yellow. Ooh, look at that brown I made, guys. You see the cafe? Cool. Now using my brush, we can start painting the tree trunk. I can use different parts of my brush to make different types of lines. Cool. Let's make some more green. I'm going to make a darker green this time, so I'm going to put more blue in my green mix, in my green and yellow mix. Let's add these beautiful leaves to our painting. So cool, guys. Now, let's finish the flowers. Now that I've done the painting, we can take our Q-tips and come back in and add details. And this kind of like erase part of the picture. So we can use a Q-tip to add some clouds. If you really want it to be white, you gotta wipe all the paint away. Pretty. Let's try another one. Oop. could come back in here and make this shape a little bit. All right, kids, that looks pretty good to me. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to wet your paper. Hold on just a second and I'll show you. Okay, kiddos, so I've got my paper here. I've got some fresh water, and I'm going to take my sponge, squeeze out the extra water, and I'm going to dampen the paper. Oop, try not to tear the paper. We want the paper to be shiny, but not buckling. That means it's not like wrinkling up too much. That looks pretty good to me. So now that we've done that step, we're going to pull our tray back towards us. Oops. Careful. And then very carefully, taking our paper, place it at the top. If it drops, just let it drop, because it'll smear if you pick it up and try to place it back down again. Very carefully, take your time, press with the heel of your hand. Okay, now hold the paper down. Let's check it. We're going to lift from the bottom. So beautiful. Oh, yes. I let go because I saw it was working. And here is our beautiful monoprint sky. Oop, you can't see it. Sorry. Here's our beautiful land and sky monoprint printed painting. I hope you have just as much fun making your monoprint today as I did, and I can't wait to see what you do, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye, friends.